Alright everyone, and welcome to the video. As you may recall, at the end of the last episode, Klein was with Mr. Asic, and we pick up with that same scene. As they walk, Mr. Asic says, "If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer every one of them." Klein then asks, "Mr. Asic, regarding what you told me about my fate, have you learned anything new?" As you know, the two of them are connected, a connection that's been brought up before. Asic then says, "In the past few months, have you noticed any coincidences, or incidents that seem to repeat themselves? Perhaps they're clues, with something hidden inside, just as you told me before about the antagonist family notebook." As you know, Klein keeps hearing Hornassus's ravings everywhere. Then, the scene cuts to a heavy-set man. We don't know who he is, but his identity will be revealed later. Next, we see the Blackthorn Security Company. When Klein and Neil enter, they find a full-blown party in progress. Pastries are being served and everyone is having a great time. A man named Kenley approaches, bringing pastries for Neil and Klein. It turns out Kenley has just gotten engaged, which is why he's throwing the party, and everyone is in high spirits. Neil jokes, "It's good that you'll be breaking our curse this way," referring to their curse of being unmarried, as it seems no one else there is married either. We're introduced to a woman named Sikatron. She's a member of the Nighthawks, a believer in the Evernight goddess, and the Sequence 8 Midnight Poet of the Sleepless Pathway. She also happens to be a talented novelist. Despite the party, the others don't seem particularly thrilled, looking like they'd rather have taken the day off. Just then, Dunsmith arrives and starts giving out assignments. He instructs, "Kenley and Sika, you'll go to the West District and the Golden Maple District. Leonard and Rowell, you'll remain at Blackthorn. Fry and I will head to the North District and Raphael Cemetery. Understood?" As everyone prepares to leave, Klein, who hasn't received an assignment, asks, "Captain, what about me?" Dunsmith replies, "Oh, right, let me think." Leonard approaches and explains, "Look, this is common for him. Nightmares are like that. Their grasp on reality and dreams gets mixed up, so they sometimes lose track of the boundaries. If the captain were to suddenly remember everything at once, that's when we'd need to worry." Dunsmith then decides, "Alright then, you'll cover Fry's shift and guard Chanis Gate." Klein asks, "Alone?" Dunn replies, "Yes, don't worry, but remember one thing. Never open Chanis Gate yourself. If it opens from the inside, that's another matter. Also, it's been 2 months since you joined the Nighthawks. You're to prepare and submit an evaluation report for the Holy Cathedral, at least 10,000 words long." With that, Dunn leaves. We see Klein gathering the files for all the cases he has worked on to write his report, including Vincent's death and the mirror divination case. Suddenly, Klein hears strange noises. He opens a door and realizes the sounds are coming from beyond Chanis Gate. He draws his revolver and approaches the gate, which slowly begins to open on its own. Inside, he sees a strange creature. It's a dangerous sealed artifact. The sight startles Klein, and at that moment, alarms begin to blare, sending everyone rushing toward the gate. We see the artifact holding out a piece of paper before the gate shuts again. Leonard arrives and they identify the creature as sealed artifact 30625. The misfortune puppet. Klein had managed to close the gate. Leonard remarks that the gate opening during a shift is extremely dangerous, as similar incidents have occurred before, where Nighthawks on duty vanished without a trace, their bodies never recovered. But the goddess Evernight never abandoned them. Just then, a figure approaches with a strange walk. It's Neil, who it turns out performed the ritual to cure his constipation. The woman with them warns, "You see, ritual magic can be very dangerous." Leonard tells the woman, "Alright, it's fine. You're cleared and we still consider you a trusted partner." Klein, surprised, asks, "What? You suspected me?" The woman explains, "It's part of our standard procedure." Leonard, however, is lost in thought. How is this possible? That artifact has been here for years and has never shown any activity. We didn't even think it was alive. For it to suddenly appear like this, something must be manipulating it from behind the gate. That kind of thing usually only happens when a new artifact is brought through Chanis Gate. Recently, only one new artifact was added, the antagonist family notebook. That has to be the cause. After this, Klein enters the world above the gray fog. He had previously asked a hanged man and Justice to find pages from Roselle's diary, and they've brought some pages with them. The pages mention the 4th epoch and a man named Zeratul who was a Sequence 9 seer.
After reviewing the pages, Klein expresses his satisfaction with their work. Justice then asks, "Mr. Fool, I have a question. How long will it take for my spectator potion to fully digest?" Klein replies that it could take anywhere from 1 to 6 months. The Hanged Man then shares a rumor he's heard. A Sequence 8 listener from the Aurora Order is trying to locate the true creator. He explains that many secret organizations believe the original creator never truly died, and still walks among them. He adds that the true creator is the basis for the Hangman card, a card Emperor Roselle modeled after the creator's true form. He then asks, "Am I correct, Mr. Fool?" Klein replies, "Well, based on what I've seen, I'd call him the fallen creator, not the true creator. This is because, as you've seen in the vision, he was hanging upside down, which is why he calls him fallen." The Hangman notes that the pathway of the fallen creator has a notoriously high rate of losing control. Losing control, for those who don't know, is when someone who has consumed the potion goes insane, and we'll see an example of this later. The Hangman then asks what his payment should be this time, offering to bring more of Roselle's diary pages. Klein declines, saying, "No, this time I want you to gather information on the Antagonist family." The Hangman says he only knows that they followed a very dangerous pathway and their history dates back to the Third Epoch. During the Fourth Epoch, families like Antagonist, Amen, and Abraham supported the Blood Emperor, which led to the founding of the Tudor Empire. However, by the end of the Fourth Epoch, they were all destroyed by the Evernight Goddess. This is the extent of his knowledge. After hearing this, Klein dismisses them. He ponders, so the Evernight Goddess destroyed the Antagonist family. What pathway did they follow? And what did Zaratul, the leader of the Secret Order, want to steal from Emperor Roselle? The Secret Order controls the Seer pathway. Could I obtain higher sequence potions from them? Is the notebook the cause of all this? Perhaps these are the coincidences Mr. Asic mentioned. Klein decides to re-examine his past cases for clues. He enters a gray fog but feels an interference preventing him from perceiving the true nature of things. He focuses on the Ray Bieber case, trying to understand why he came to Tingen. As you know, to advance in any pathway, including the Seared pathway, one must act according to its principles. To improve his acting and advance, Klein needs to fully embody the role. He starts searching for clues related to the clown potion. He sees a vision of Bieber's corpse with something strange in his brain. He also sees the clown's body from which a blood-red orb emerges. Then, he sees Vincent holding the Antagonist family notebook, which he used to summon the Secret Order. Klein realizes all these events must be connected. The vision of the heavy-set man from earlier also reappears, leaving Klein to wonder who he is. The scene shifts to the Divination Club in Tingen. A woman named Miss Christina is there, asking for Klein Moretti. Klein arrives just then. The woman explains she's looking for a man named Levinus, showing his picture in a newspaper. Klein notices the word Hornassus. Levinus has apparently absconded with 10,000 pounds. The woman says they are trying to find him. Klein explains that for a divination, he'll need a personal item that Levinus used frequently. She suggests his son might work. At that moment, a girl named Megos, Levinus's former fiancée, arrives. He had gotten her pregnant before leaving and she is now carrying their child. Christina suggests using the unborn child for the divination, but Klein is hesitant. She insists Levinus is a terrible person who cheated them out of their money and must be found immediately. Klein explains, "Look, the child isn't born yet, so we can't use him for the divination. We'll have to wait at least a few months." At this, Christina becomes frantic, suggesting they go to a clinic and have the pregnancy terminated immediately. Megos, the mother, objects, saying the baby is sweet, talks to her, whistles, and sings. Hearing this, Klein suspects Megos may be suffering from some kind of delusion and tries to investigate.
Klein then speaks to the receptionist, Angelica. He shows her the drawing of the heavy-set man and asks if she recognizes him. She replies, yes, he and Mr. Vincent were arguing right outside the entrance about a month ago. She wonders if he could be connected to Vincent's death. Klein asks if she overheard their conversation, but she hadn't. The scene then shifts to the library. The heavy-set man is there, and so is Klein, who has come to check the records to see if anyone has recently borrowed books about the Antigonus family or Hornacus. He checks the borrowing records and finds Lenevis's name, but another name appears repeatedly. The borrowing started in May, with the last entry on July 14th. Coincidentally, Vincent died on July 15th. The name is Sirius Arapis. Klein wonders who he is. He decides to check the archaeology section, and as he's browsing, he sees the same heavy-set man right in front of him. The man spots Klein, who is now unsure whether to apprehend him or follow his instincts and retreat. The man sees Klein and immediately starts to run. Klein gives chase, telling the librarian to call the police. He sees the man has escaped by shattering a window, leaving blood on the broken glass and the ground. Klein follows him. The man is running erratically, almost like an animal. He turns and lunges at Klein, but suddenly collapses. He's clearly lost control. As he gets up to attack again, Klein shoots him in the head, killing him. It's revealed he was a Sequence 9 Beyonder of the secret suppliant pathway, with terrible combat skills. Klein then tries to divine the clown potion formula from the man's remains. He enters the spiritual world, sees visions of the man's history, and tries to learn about the true creator, but he's forcefully ejected. Dunsmith appears behind him and warns, "You know that when a Beyonder shows signs of losing control, it's incredibly dangerous. Don't be so reckless. Your luck might save you once or twice, but not always." Klein apologizes and promises it won't happen again. Leonard joins them, remarking, "You know, you've encountered more strange events than the rest of us combined. It's possible there's a connection between you and all these incidents." They find a letter in the dead man's jacket from the Aurora Order, addressed to a Mr. Z. When Klein asks, Dunn explains that members of the Order use alphabetical code names. The letter discusses the Antigonus notebook, stating, "Vincent and I have been searching for a long time, but have found nothing new except for what we already knew." It also mentions the clown potion formula. Klein says he tried to divine it, but Dunn states the Holy Cathedral will need to verify its authenticity. He adds that because the family followed the seer pathway, they could have foreseen their own downfall and potentially left traps or false formulas. The letter reveals that the real treasure is believed to be on the main peak of the Hornacus mountain range within the Evernight ruins. The letter is signed Sirius, who writes that he will offer the lands of Tingan to his master. The letter ends there. Back above the gray fog, Klein recalls Leonard's words about a possible connection and starts thinking about all the coincidences. The secret order was pursuing the owner of the Antigonus notebook, then lost track of them in the real world. Original Klein had shot himself, but he wonders if they orchestrated it. Klein pieces together all these connections, realizing everything seems to lead back to Hornacus. He then considers the biggest coincidence of his own life, Original Klein shooting himself, which allowed him to transmigrate into this world. He starts to simply observe, realizing he can't rely solely on divination. He needs to be open to what he sees. As soon as he accepts this limitation, he feels a sense of release. It seems his seer potion has been completely digested. The key wasn't just acting, but also understanding its limitations. Now Klein feels liberated. He can move throughout the city in his spiritual form, observing everything with perfect clarity, unlike the fleeting glimpses he got before. He sees a vision of a building with red chimneys and is then pulled back to reality. His heart is pounding and his mind is exhausted. He concludes there is a mastermind behind everything, likely located at the place with the red chimneys. We flash back to a month ago. A group of people, including Lenevis, are performing a ritual with the skull of a man named Tenor Aggers. They appear to be sacrificing themselves to animate some entity. Numerous souls are drawn in, entering a woman's body, whose eyes then open. In the present, as Klein sleeps, he thinks about the Antigonus family and Chanis Gate. He suddenly remembers a crucial detail he'd forgotten. The misfortune cloth puppet had handed him a piece of paper with strange symbols on it. And that's where the episode ends.